Fun, Ratty, Shop, and Folk Park and Castle. And these are what some of the old cottages used to look like.
Come here. Lad trying to chase down the ducks for his dinner.
Dead bird right there. Black.
Leave him alone. Stop it. Come here.
In the Briar dwelling, an example from Country Mayo of a dwelling occupied by both humans and their milking cows. There's a pigsty nearby.
Yeah, Nathaniel's favorite kind of dwelling right there.
Yep. Dark in here. Let's go check it out. See?
Would you like some tea with your crumpets, sir?
This is supposed to be a typical Irish dwelling. We have the sleeping cubicle.
It's not that typical. Fire extinguishers.
So the fire extinguishers. Actually, it's really dark. I'm surprised we can see. Farm implements up there. The fireplace. See, it's really quite the open pit that provides a bit of fire, but of course it makes it quite smoky, and it is smoky now.
Here.
Yeah, it's very cold.
It was cold.
This would be a back bedroom for probably the parents. This is not much bigger than some of the other houses we've seen on our drives. Whoa, we're out of focus. Okay. Door. They actually kept their cattle inside the house. That would provide warmth, smell obviously, but that would provide quite a bit of warmth. So they kept the cattle in here, and there's nowhere else to keep them. Back door. Somebody shouldn't be going in. And that was the extent of the house.
It's small.
And Nathaniel's commenting, it is very, very small. And the roof, which is covered in all kinds of different materials. What's called number 18, a big deal. It's called the horizontal mill. And it's just a working core mill based on findings of an excavation in Mainchingallas, County Cork. And the water goes through here and turns the wheel inside this, and it just basically grinds their corn. That's all it does. It's called the Village Street. It's the village houses and shops have been chosen from many different areas to form a collection of typical 19th century urban Irish buildings. So they have all kinds of things. They have a doctor's house, artisan's house. They have a modern conveniences.
I don't think they had these back then. You had to sit in a little hole and hope for the best.
They have pawnbrokers. They have just about everything up here. They have supper.
Come here, Doggy. Come here, Doggy. Come here, Doggy.
Quite well created because a lot of these things are actually running. For instance, this is a real hotel. On the left, it's got a real bar and everything. You can go in there and, do whatever. Right to my right, Nathaniel's inside the post office.
We got cake and crumpets for $5 a piece.
Well, you're in the post office, though. Okay, and we'll just walk down the street now because we need to get to the actual castle itself. There it goes. What would be really great is tomorrow we'll contrast this with Kong. The Kong is really like this except a little bit wider street. And Kong, of course, is famous for the Quiet Man. And We'll just continue on down the lane. It's hard to see right now, but this pile of hay is full of birds. When I move, they're going to fly away quickly. Here we go. Oh, it's unreal. They stayed there this time. Last time they flew away. But they're everywhere. Oh, there they go. Whew. Now, where is Nathan at? Oh well, we lost him. I'll just have to go on my own. Little dwelling of a landless laborer, and it's not very big. It's about the size of a small travel trailer. Very dark, completely open fireplace, and straw mattress on the ground. That's it. Kind of rough, huh? Richer folk would have a house about this size. And we'll go see if the homeowner's in.
Honey, I'm home.
Well, there's the homeowner. These are not necessarily the English, but these are just the, you know, landed gentry, you could say. It's called the Golden Vale House, the dwelling of a prosperous farmer of the fertile Golden Vale of East County Limerick. So we go inside. It's very dark in here. Hope you can see it. Oh, out of focus. Okay. I would say this is probably more the master bedroom. So this way is a kitchen that smells like a working kitchen. I mean, it actually has. Amazing. They really keep this thing going well. They have a real fire going. They're making real scone bread. And you see the fire is completely open again. Just goes right up the chimney, but some of it's going to, of course, escape. Eggs. And upstairs. I don't know who that is there. The homeowners are again. Going to a back room. Small bedroom. I guess of a a fisherman from the Atlantic coast. Now the house is different because the roof has been latched down because the forces off the Atlantic are so fierce that they have to, well, rope them down. This is the famous turf. Turf is actually just bog that's been cut into pieces and dried, and it burns. It burns just like coal, and that's the main fuel.
It looks like big bricks of dung.
Tanya said it'll look like big bricks of dung. That's okay. In the distance you can see the Bonrati Castle, which I believe, if I read the literature correctly, is from the 14th century, but we'll get the real scoop here in a second. My shadow in the picture. You know, I'm not sure how accurate these places are, but I get the impression they've tried to recreate them quite well. And some of them, I guess, are from this place right here, but this is what is called a Kerry fisherman's house, a salmon fisherman. It's amazing when you go on these places because the smell of the fire is extreme. I mean, you can smell how it would have been the whole thing. They keep them quite true and alive. Daniel's down there looking for the dog again. As you go inside, you see how small it is. Cupboards, some kind of bench. Again, the open fireplace. I mean, that's just a fire. There's nothing black. Is just a black from the fire, which it's smoking right now. I can see this. I mean, that thing has been going today. Amazing. Little table. About 5-foot high ledge here. We go to the back room here. And we have a bed. That's it. Living in the lap of luxury, aren't we? Running out of battery. This isn't good.
Attacking! Fire cannons! Ah! Fire necklace! Ah! Big one!
I think he's forgetting that you need to have a little bit of flame for that to work, but hey, I think you saved the day.
Victory is to the orcs!
See what they're doing right now, they're having one of their medieval banquets in here. Go ahead, Nathaniel.
They have sanitation devices in here.
Yeah. They have a, usually twice a day they have a dinner here for guests. They have a medieval style dinner. Nathaniel, come on down here. Stay down there for a while, okay?
Oh, that's something that I was talking about.
Yeah, but go down there, Nathaniel. I'm going to follow you. Go down there, I'm going to follow you.
Follow each other through it. It's too small down here.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it's not cool. It's like claustrophobia.
Nathaniel, you can... See this, but that's the dungeon. It's about another 15 feet down there. I mean, it just looks like you were literally thrown down there. There's a, on the side over there. Oh, we did. Oh, focus in. Oh, stop it. Don't move. There we go. You see the ropes hanging from the walls and stuff. Quite amazing, quite amazing. Dungeon. Oh, wouldn't this be good? Wouldn't this be real good?
No? Ladies. All the king's horses, all the king's men, all the king's donkeys back. Why can't we just hate him?
He's on his other throne.
Big armor or something donkey. I mean, he was like so big, he could beat everyone. I mean, look at this. He had like big white yoke. This big yellow yoke, with a smiling face, and going, "Hey, we're back together again." And we're like, no, so we ate him.
This is called the captain's quarters. This was just named for the captain of the guard, and then, of course, you can see the ceiling. We'll go up to the ceiling. It'll be hard to see, but this is original. This is how it used to be decorated, I guess. All that plaster's falling off. It was quite a decoration at the time. He's got his bed and his armor. Nathaniel, of course, wants to wear that armor, right, Nathaniel?
Yeah, I want
And he's got his fire there. Turn around and we'll see the little staircases they had to go up all the time. And of course, this room we haven't figured out yet. It's called the garderobe. We go in here. We've got a little slit for fighting. He's got this hole right here. We don't really know what that hole is for. Have you figured that hole out yet, Nathaniel?
Pooper.
Oh, okay. Wondering how much we have left. This is the main stairwell going up again. And this is going towards, what is that room, Nathaniel?
Which one? This is
When you're in.
drawbridge room.
This is the drawbridge room. This is what how they open and close the drawbridge. I imagine that has something there to do with it. Well, there you go right here. Heavy recreation. Here you have the slit that would not have had glass at the time. If you can see out, you can see that's how you'd start shooting at people, of course. And imagine a road that's out there that you can barely see. Was how you used to come in here.
All the king's horses and all the king's men. It's going to put him back together again.
This is the room we were in previously. I don't know what's going on this. Fire.
Give it away! Right there. This is what's cool. Not going to do it.
This was just the original Great Hall. This was before the one downstairs, which they use now. And what it says is that the original banquet hall and audience chamber of the Earls of Thomond. The Earl gave judgments while sitting in the chair of estate, which we'll try to find. The walls are hung with French, Brussels, and Flemish tapestry. You see there. The oak down, looking for secret passages. Unfortunately, all the doors are closed. That would be a secret passage. There's the chair the man sat in when he was giving judgment. A lot of these things are current. Again, the tapestries are from the 1570s, or actually, some of them are, yeah, 15, older than that. Quite beautiful and ornate. Now we're driving up towards the Connemara, which is an area we were at 2 days ago, but unfortunately the video camera the battery had no juice. So we're doing it again, because it's a really scenic area. But right now what's really interesting is this looks so much like home, except we're on the other side of the road. I mean, the trees, the clouds, some of the houses even. So in a way it doesn't feel like you've even gone anywhere. But again, we're on the other side of the road. Or was Nathaniel would say the what? The other side of the road. So anyway, we're just we're driving up here. It takes about half an hour. But now just remember the scenery right now, because we'll get to the camera off here in a bit. In about 15 minutes, the camera will come back on, and it's going to look so different. It's just amazing. But we're going to make some stops up there. We're going to go towards a thing called the Quiet Man Bridge. And the Quiet Man Bridge, I'm assuming, was in the movie The Quiet Man. And we'll film around there. And then we'll film some of the other sites that we saw the other day, some of the hills with the snow on it, some of the abbey we were at, where Rochelle works, a beautiful place. And then we'll come back through Cong, which is where the movie is actually filmed. And there's an abbey there that Nathaniel wants to check out, and a castle and stuff. So, so that's kind of our agenda for today. Now this is only about 15 minutes later, and you can see it's really opened up. It's almost like Eastern Washington in a way, but it's, well, obviously not. It's just lack of trees, and it just gets to be less and less, and pretty soon it's just bog and marshland and rock. We let a car go around us. So we're just zipping on the road up here. It's nice and bouncy, and it's not unlike the road going from North Bend to Falls City. Would you say, Nathaniel?
Yeah.
But it's a main road in Ireland. I'm pretty sure the thing we're looking for is just up here a ways. See, it just opens up there. You can see a house up on the hill. Don't close up. Right in the distance right now, Nathaniel, if you look at the distance, you can see snow on that mountain. They don't usually get that much snow here, so it's unusual. Zip around the corner. So, just give everybody a general flavor of the landscape here in Western Ireland. And the bleakness, really, in a way. I mean, there's no trees because it's just not really able to survive. So it makes it very difficult. That's why they had, what do you burn? What do you burn for warmth, Nathaniel, if you don't have any wood?
They look like big bricks of dung, but they're really just like turf.
The turf we were looking at yesterday, I mean, luckily it does burn. And then they have coal, some horses over here. So, okay. Oh, a couple of trees here, but these have been planted.
Palm trees can survive here, but they don't flourish.
Something we'll show here. There are palm trees in Ireland because, actually, for being so far north, it's very mild. And even in southeastern Scotland, southwestern Scotland, there are palm trees, and because they're
like warm spots.
The Gulf Current from the Caribbean, this is where it ends up at. So, in a way, it's quite mild here. It usually doesn't get too much below freezing, except in the interior. So on the coastal areas, you will see palm trees, and
or people plant them in the interior.
No, people don't. No, they don't usually. They plant them a bit, kind of like California. But the point is, it's actually more mild here than Washington State. They are much further north, much further north. So we'll call it a bit. Well, I think this is it right here. Okay, I keep the thing going. We're coming up to what's called the Quiet Man Bridge. Okay, Nathaniel, see that yellow brown sign? Don't get it close up. Just see it.
Should I get it close up?
No. You see the sign?
Yeah.
Quiet Man Bridge. Now we're going. It's called the Quiet Man Bridge. I don't know much about it. We're just going to go over the bridge. And then we'll watch the movie later and see how it all blends in. See the bridge? Excuse me? Is your left eye open?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see the bridge?
Yes, I see the bridge.
Okay.
I'm going to turn my folks at home can see it.
Go ahead and get a slight close-up, just so you got the bridge in the house. Come back now. I guess that's the bridge. I don't even know. We'll just keep driving up the road to check everything out. I would think they'd at least have a sign here. We'll keep driving up the road. It's quaint, as they say. I don't know if all this was used in the movie or what. Probably, some of it was. Some of the trees still have their leaves on them. I guess as the Quiet Man Bridge, it's kind of hard. They give you a sign that says it's this direction, but then they don't tell you if this is the right one. But considering there's really nothing else up past this that I know of, we drove up the road a bit. This is a bridge. We'll check out the movie later so we get a general understanding, but really quite nice. And if you look in the background, Nathaniel, slowly go up the hill there, you can see the landscape, how again the rocks have been used to form a fields and stuff like that. So, well, that's about it. We'll get out of here. We'll go see Kylemore Abbey and some things up further north, and then we'll get to Kong and talk more about the movie. Okay? Let's go. Well, outside of the pile of garbage you see right there, this is how they make turf. I mean, it's coming from the turf. It's been cut. You see the slight lines how it's been cut. And then there are piles up here to my left. Of turf, piled up. That was really close to my head. Right now it's nice weather here, but we're going into those hills right there. This might not be the wisest thing we're doing today. Beautiful place in summertime, but right now, a little bit cold and bleak. Right now, looks like we got some road. When I was with Nathaniel, we get some. He wants something. Nathaniel wants to roll down and pet him. I said, "Don't you dare!
Right.
You don't know that thing will bite you or something like that." That's exactly what he wants. And of course, in front of us, we got the old cows on the road. So, kind of rough driving here. I know we have these things in Washington State, but it just looks so Irish when you're here. Water coming down the old bridge with the road. This road we've been traveling down. Now we're against the lake. You almost feel like you're in the Scottish Highlands, really. Our Calmore Abbey, our destination, is right past those trees up there. Road by the lake. See the sheep are just literally grazing away. So, we're coming up towards the Abbey again. Up here on the right-hand side is I think it's a private road, and it used to be the original road, and there's a store behind it, and we'll get to that in a second. It's just like going, it's just a little lake drive here. Oops. Oh, we got tunage now. Okay, and right in front of us, that was the old road right there. That was the old road. What happened is that the old road went that way, and the guy that eventually got this land wanted to move the road, so he paid to have this road moved to the other side of the lake, so no one would be able to go on that road. Now we're coming up towards Calmore Abbey, and we'll see you here in a second in the distance. Oh. Parking spot, right? Yep. We'll go this side this time. Whoa! Oops, a little bit bumpy for Nathaniel. Okay, just turn it off, Nathaniel, we'll go. Okay, the history of this, courtesy of Rochelle Hogan, was the Abbey. What happened is this family called the, was it the O'Henrys? Mitchell O'Henry, I believe. The hunting lodge right behind us. We can't get to it today, but an old hunting lodge. Him and his wife came through in about 1860, 1850, maybe that time frame. And they loved it so much, they were from England, that his wife decided that she wanted to live here. So she convinced her husband to buy the property. And they didn't do like a lot of the other English did, take it over. They actually bought the property. And that's when the road ran that direction. Well, then they decided they were going to live in the hunting lodge. So they built this wonderful house. Not the whole thing you see now, but quite a bit of it. And they lived there, and it's beautifully furnished, etc. They built, they really improved the grounds, but what they did, unlike a lot of the other English overlords, they improved the area for the local people. First, they hired all the locals to work the land instead of bringing outside labor, and then they drained all the bogs and marshes so people would have farmland. And then they said, you can farm this land, just give us a percentage, you know, like a tenant farmer, except they were just given the land to begin with. So a lot of people are thankful to his family for doing that. So they had the house for a while, and then misfortune struck his family. His wife died in Egypt, and all of his kids died, and then he died, and it went to somebody, and his son lost the house in a gambling thing. And it pretty much fell into disuse till like about 1915, when a bunch of nuns from Yves or something like that in Belgium, during World War I, they fled to here. We're allowed to use it, and they've been using it ever since. Now it's called Calmore Abbey, so it's not that old. It's just that it's such a beautiful area. I mean, this is one of the most beautiful areas in Ireland that I've seen, and I've seen quite a few now. So you see, you got the lake here. The road's been moved to this side of the lake. Nathaniel pan to your right. You'll see just the mountain right there. And up on the mountain, Nathaniel, you see the statue up there. You went way too far. Find the statue and get a close up to that statue. You have to go slow. And there's a hike up that statue, but of course we're not going to do it because it's whatever. It's too steep. Now go to very right. It's almost like a mountain goat. Right to the right, and that rock right there, you see a couple of goats. Go ahead. Go to your right. You have to use your other eye, your left eye. Go to your right. And there's a couple of goats up there, so you can just see it's very gorgeous. Well, when his wife died, he built a wonderful Gothic cathedral about 1880, I believe. And it fell into disuse also. This is all being renovated, and Rochelle's the one that handles all the restaurant and the gift shop. The whole thing, buys and sells, and it's quite a wonderful job for her. And it's interesting because this is not old in any way, shape, or form, but it's still turned into, I think, 250,000 people last year visited this over the summer, she said. So they've done very well for themselves. I'm not going to do it justice, but that's the Kong area. We're coming from the west side. Right on those other sides, those rolling hills, is Kong, where again the movie Quiet Man was filmed. This is Loch Corrib, which goes all the way down to Galway, about 75 miles long, this lake, but it's full of dotted with little islands and stuff, as you see. We're approaching Kong right now. Of course, it's amazing how one town still has a tourist industry based on a movie that was filmed 45 years ago. You'll have to deal with the windshield wipers. A bit bumpy, so that might affect the cameraman some. Don't know.
Yeah, it does.
Does it affect that?
Ow!
Oh!
That hurt.
Okay. Kong.
Donkey Kong. Country.
I'm just stopping here because I want to stop. Okay, we're going to continue on. I'm going to go this way first. The main street of Kong, of course. Take a right here. I don't know actually what parts of the movie or where. We're just driving through. Okay, this thing up here is called the Quiet Man Heritage Cottage Visitor Center. So we'll have to go check that out here, huh? Probably not even open. Okay, anything's open. Nope, it's definitely not open. But, we had to make a slight pit stop. So we're just going to go back around through town, back out the way we came in, just to get a general view of this. Tourist Information Office, which also is closed. Where there's a good time of year to be here, as we can see. Okay. I don't remember how this street worked in the movie, if it worked in the movie, or I don't know. The Quiet Man Coffee Shop. We'll have to go to the Quiet Man Coffee Shop. And we're going back out of town.
Get some tea and the Quiet Man Coffee Shop.
So now we're going.
Are we going to see Ashford Castle?
Yeah, we'll try to see Ashford Castle. I don't know how Ashford Castle works in the movie, if it does, but we need to see that. I'm going to let this car behind me go by so we can get a better view of what's up here. Oops. Anything heavy? Okay. You can see right here, to the left and stuff, we see the river comes right here to the edge. And everything else, I mean, it's just fantastic. We'll go back up this way, the road a bit. Wiper, wiper, wiper. This is the way we just came in a few seconds ago. We'll go up the hill. Woohoo! How's the cameraman?
Not feeling so good.
This is the old school on the right. Wherever.
Ow.
This is the U-turn place. Bug. What's that bug over there? The red one. You see?
It wasn't fair. It
Doesn't
wasn't
matter.
fair.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Our cameraman's a little cold. Should get a good view of the river again. All right. Everything. A lot of things right here in Irish. You see the yield sign's actually in Irish. You see that, Nathaniel? It's actually in Irish. They got here's the river again, and see how it just goes right middle of town. A couple cars coming. There's actually a big salmon hatchery here, so obviously that's salmon. Okay, going back through town again. Here we go. All the modern conveniences. The old building over there. Oh, we get to that one.
Hey Dad, I can lean my head out the window.
No, if you lean your head out the window though, it's whatchamacallit?
Cool.
That's cold. Okay, here we go. I'll go back out of town and come back in again. Other side.
Woo. Now we're getting close to Ashland and the peak.
There's an old church that way. We'll get on the way in. There's a cave up here we tried to see before that was closed, so we'll try to see it later on today. I'm just going all the way out, come back in, and I don't know if you just saw what I just saw 2 seconds ago, Nathaniel.
What?
Yeah, it looks like the caves are open because all kinds of cars are parked up here. In front of it, see?
That's stopping you, dude. You're stopping and going. Like, makes this
Am I getting your car sick?
No, it makes this thing go up and down.
Okay.
Ow!
Whoa. You okay?
That hurt.
I hate to have to look at this thing. Now we're going back into town again. Of course, it doesn't look exactly like the movie, but we should be able to watch the movie and look at this tape and discern what's what. Let me make a right here, Nathaniel, and it's just building us off from the other side and an old thing here. If I can get in here without killing us.
That's not very rewarding.
Hang on. There we go. This might be part of what they're referring to. I'm going to park right up here. Okay. Okay, go ahead and turn it off. We'll go out and see what's up. Still in Kong, of course, and this is I'm assuming some of an old castle. That's a bridge, water going over the bridge, but road of some sort. You can see the holes over here. Don't know what that structure up there is at all. Oh, there's one of the local residents. Let's go ask him.
Hey! Hey!
What's he doing? What it is, it doesn't look actually that old. Some brick stuff over here. the same trail we're just on, there's a cut. Actually cut through these rocks. I'm kind of curious where this goes. But I didn't lock the car. Ah. Nathaniel, this is definitely the castle. I don't know if you've even noticed this yet. Nathaniel, this is definitely the castle right here. Check this out.
No, there's another castle.
No, I bet you this is it because it's not on the map. It's probably just an old castle that's sitting around here. So actually it's not even a cut. What it is, it's one side, left side's the wall. Yep, that's what it is. The left side's the wall, the right side's just a cut in the rock. Therefore we can get over here. The tinkling noise is the plastic I'm covering the camera up with. Now, let's go up this thing. We can do this. No! Better yet, I keep changing my mind. This is like a canal. I don't know what the heck it is. It looks just like a canal to me. Except the thing at the end. Huh. They don't need like any canals around here. Like need a hole in the head. I think water one time used to come through here because way up ahead, I mean there's water now, and way up there, does that make too much noise, is a bridge. I really don't know. I'm going to ask in the village. Where are you at? Oh, he's on the other side. There he is. Let's move the camera around. There he is. Stay there for a second. Looking for him. He's back here where I should have been to begin with. If he falls off that thing and breaks both his legs, he better not come running to me. Where's he at? Oh, too dark. Here's part of the bridge on the river. And there's Nathaniel doing something he knows darn well he's not supposed to be doing.
Did you have to climb?
If he falls in, he'll get so wet and so cold, he's not going to get in trouble. But
When you were climbing this mountain, was it like this?
yes, it did. It looked like that. He asked me if I climbed any mountain now, it's looking like that. Yeah, at about 4,000 feet higher. Huh. Stay there.
No.
I'm still playing on that thing. Let him go with doing stuff. He hasn't flown in yet. There's a pedestrian path. And rehearsals, check it out. See something's up here. Park to the right. There's the trees right there. But there's a hole. There's a gate for the horse to get out. But right here, bridge is built. There's this ends though. I'm on some kind of path right here. This is this cut area. It just ends right here. So I don't know how that all worked out before. Don't have a clue. Heading downtown again. I look like a damn tourist, but it's okay. I'm not too worried about it. Along the bridge, we can see the remains of the abbey here. I believe it was from the 12th century. We will be there in a bit after we do some other things. It's right there in the background. You can free walk through the rest of the bridge again. Narrow bridge. Go ahead and tap your fingers when you're ready to go.
Oh. I've already started.
That's fine, man. I'm ready to drive. You got the whole thing?
Yeah, I got the Ashford Castle sign, go. We're now entering Ashford Castle. Let's take a little pond dive right here. Yeah. Oh, there we Hold on, I said.
The car behind me.
So there's the castle right there. We're going to be there in a minute.
Follow the road.
Okay. Okay.
We can't go in the castle because it's for residents only. It is a hotel. And what was it, 1238, I believe it's been around. But that's an example of most castles are actually palaces, which is a very large residence. The problem again is, of course, that it's 150 pounds a night per person, so it's about $300. And I just don't think we're going to do that, because we're going to be able to stay in Germany for about $100 for the two of us, in the same kind of deal. So, well, we're going to head out now. We're going to go see the Abbey. Let's go.
And now you can see on our way back. Wonderful view, ladies and gentlemen, huh? And there's the church.
This is right back into town. We're going into town right now.
I thought this was the church, Dad. That was the church. That's the church.
Turn on. I was just looking at it a few seconds ago. This is the church, I believe I was seeing from the river. It is an Anglican church, Episcopal, so it is not Catholic. It's still in use because there's services and everything else on Sunday. We're going down this road here in a second. I'm just trying to get views of everything in the Kong area here. And there's our wonderful car again. Okay, well, let's get back into town.
This is the Kong Abbey, everybody. It's in the 12th century. You can see it. See? Nice, beautiful abbey. Oh, at the house. See? Everything is in the abbey. And there's like a castle, but no, that's probably abbey too. Oh, parking. Ow. Okay, we're doing that. Close up. And this is going to be an abbey, I think.
This is the Kong Abbey. It's from the 12th century. It's always open and free. Free is the best thing. So we're only 5 minutes away from the Asher Castle. So we'll go up here and we'll check it out. And somebody had some graffiti on the back side of that truck. Don't go that way. Okay, let's go check it out.
Gee, see what that said.
Just quickly, Turlo O'Connor, High King of Ireland, founded this abbey around 1134 on the site of an older monastery. The Augustinian rules seem to have been adopted shortly after 1140. The monastery was destroyed in 1203, but it was rebuilt shortly afterward. It is likely that considerable parts of the present structure date from this rebuilding, though it was altered many times afterwards. The doorways and windows are among the best pieces of stone carving in the west of Ireland. Parts of the cloister were recreated in the 19th century. Okay, and below that's the Irish, and can't say where that. Okay, and I was saying that this thing here basically says it was founded, the monastery of Kong was founded in the early 7th century. It was destroyed by fire in the early 12th century. And it says all the same stuff again. Yeah, that's it. So we came all the way through it. Now I'm going to go back in with the camera. We'll find Nathaniel. This would have been the monastery here, and that would have been the church over there, which is also a ruin. But considering they're maybe upwards of 800 years old, they're doing pretty good. Now it's used as a graveyard mostly. I assume these would have had stained glass windows in them.
You read that, I can't read it.
Let's read it.
I can't.
Time to read this.
Looks like he died at age 75.
You can't see it in the camera anyway. Very uneven. Then I was acting like you'd use this as a fortress. It was never.
What?
Maybe it was slightly used. Yeah, they do have the right windows for it, so they still try to defend themselves from here. This is more of a stairway though. Go somewhere else, Nathaniel. Nathaniel.
What?
That was not a window.
Huh?
That was not a window.
I know.
That was a door.
This is a door?
That used to be a floor there. See those things going across, those holes?
Yeah.
That would have been the wood gun in those holes to make a floor. So you're walking on would have been a floor. And then at the top, it would have done something. Remember, the doors in the other castle were only like 4.5 to 5 feet high. There's the current abbey, so there's still something here. Anglican church in the background. Stones.
Hey, Dad.
One of the archers up there.
Over there.
Excuse me?
Check that one out right there. It's cracked. Really,
Okay.
really old.
Yeah, the ones lying down are the older ones. The ones, I mean, they were only, I've noticed that seems 150
The ones
years.
that are lying down are the old ones.
That one's 1799. The one right next to me. I guess it would be pretty old, huh? So, great.
I think this thing should have... Hey, turn that off!
Why?
I think this thing was in a war.
I think this thing was in a war. It just fell into disuse.
There's like things over there, and
It's
then
old.
here and over here. I don't want to get over there because that thing's like all blocked off.
Over where? Come here. He yelled at me. We just got here, but there's another stairway. He'll want to run up as soon as he sees it. Sometimes he doesn't realize I'm trying to do it for something he'll enjoy more.
I have them right here. I had to get down and everything. Cool. This is your flag. Alright. Yeah! Yeah!
He doesn't even see me. I'm over here. Let's looking back at the abbey. Looking that way, of course. There's been their gardens. Now, what we're doing here, I don't know what the main river is out there. I don't know that. One right out there, but this little river is actually the River Kong, if I have this done correctly. Okay, now we go across the grounds here. What we're doing, we go across a footbridge and spans the River Kong. And then they used to sit and fish in a small house to the left, which would have been right over here. Right there is a small house to the left. I mean, that thing there itself could be upwards of 800 years old. It's amazing thinking about it. And if we continue on the footpath, we're going to pass the the fishing house. There's some caves known as Pigeonhole, and whatever the name is. And there's also a 4,000-year-old burial chamber called the Giant's Grave. So it's time to go check that thing out.
Are you one of the favorite most of the abbey? Of course.
Well, I guess we're actually on an island, so it is all part of the River Kong. Getting low on tape. One thing I don't want to do right now is run out of stupid tape.
Hi.
Here it goes. I mean, there he goes. Yeah, there's the old house I used to fish out of. We'll see if anybody's fishing out of it today. Yes, any fishermen there today?
No, this is my house.
It used to be where the monks used to hang out to go fishing.
All this fish from here.
Just off the holes and stuff, just around the edges. Read the thing. We'll use the other camera. Okay. What we have here, it says, fish was a staple diet of the medieval monastery, and this small building, probably built in the 15th or 16th century, is believed to have been used by the monks of Kong to make a task of catching fish a little easier. It's built on a platform of stones over a small arch, which allows water from the river to flow underneath the floor. A trapdoor in the floor may have been used for a net, and monks could sit by the small fireplace in cold weather waiting for their catch. It is said that a line was connected from the fishing house to a bell in the monastery kitchen to let the cook know when there was fresh fish available. That's kind of neat. That's great. Was there a hole? Do you see the hole, Nathaniel?
The hole in there.
Oh, it's probably, yeah, there's the hole right there. All right.
What was the hole used for?
What they did was, they put a net right down through there, and when it caught a fish, they had a bell that went out to the kitchen, which had been way the heck over there. And
But how would they pick the fish up out of there with a net?
it's probably a bigger net. That's not a very big. Those fish weren't that big, and they made a fire right there in that open fireplace to keep themselves warm. So the fish would come right through there.
Hey, check me out!
And he's gonna come out of there dirty, I just know it.
Cool.
No, there's a little bird right here, and this is like flying around. He's not carrying or anything. He's just like right here. There he is.
Where's the bird?
There's the camera. Don't worry, it's flat. In fact, Laura, give him anything and go backwards. I gotta hit the thing, run out that door, run across that little thing, run up that little path, run over there, run right next to Nathaniel before it goes off. Can it be done? We'll find out. You probably see me running halfway across the picture, but we'll see if we can do it. Here we go. The swan just floating up the river there, focusing in and see what we can see around here. This is the bridge we'll be going across in a second again, and looking downstream here, looking right at the fishing house. Hey, what are you doing over there? Hey. You better stop that now.
Wait a minute.
I think he's trying to fish.
Yeah, we're fishing the yellow.
Yeah, I bet.
George! 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 And he shall win forever!
Abbey Gate before you enter Kong. On the way in, I was coming to Nathaniel. I said, hey, look at the big gate, go somewhere. Well, we just walked all the way through town, came back on the other side. We're actually looking for a cave right now. We'll keep looking for it. Movie, I guess. It's called again, the Quiet Man Heritage Center. It's been recreated exactly like the movie was. The interior has been, except actually the whole interior of the movie was shot in Hollywood. So we just filmed the outdoor scenes here. Okay, it's called Abbey Street, and we're going to be on it right now. Okay. What would a visit to Kong be without a stop at the Quiet Man Coffee Shop? I guess this place is really, let's say, ultimate Hollywood. So we'll get out, we'll have ourselves a tea or whatever we're going to have, maybe some soup. Nah, we're going to eat in a little bit. So I think that's what I'm going to do right now. Got to go to the Quiet Man Coffee Shop. Woo! I turned it off. It's closed. We wait too long. We went and tried to see the cave instead, so it's unfortunate it's closed. We'll just try to hit another coffee shop here really quick. I need to make a phone call. And, hey. Bummer. So they got all this memorabilia from the film. Again, it's kind of interesting how one thing is a whole tourist industry is based on that. So, well, let's get out of here. Interior of our bed and breakfast in our home, away from home for 4 days. It actually has never been this dirty. It's just that we're getting ready to leave right now. It is now Friday morning. Say hi, Nathaniel.
What?
Say hi. I just got to come in for a second.
Alright, why coming in?
There's Nathaniel in all of his glory.
Hey, get that stupid thing off! Hey, this happened to be, unless you guys like to look at my butt, I don't care.
Outdoors. And the cabinet. Me. TV. And the way out.
Better not do that again, Dad.
Yeah, and we'll get the rest of it just to show what it was like.
Why took
Cool.
a picture of you peeing, so...
We're upstairs of our B&B. The light usually comes on with the movement, but it's not. We just got to pay and go. Go back to Dublin and to Belfast and Environs further on. So we have breakfast every day. Is that fantastic or what? Uh-oh. Smile, you're a candid camera.
Sorry. What are you doing? Are you alright then?
We're ready to go.
You're ready to go, are you?
We're just filming for posterity's sake, I guess.
Yeah, on the ball and Nelson right about it?
Yep. And then that's about it, really. Kitchen. Just kitchen.
Little kitchen.
Oh, there we go. Okay. That's about it. We'll get out of here. Currently in Edinburgh right now, we're getting a description of the city. Don't know if this can be heard.
No running water, no sanitation, desperate to build a new town down here. But before they could build, they had to drain the Loch, the North Lake. Would you believe on your left, where Princess Street Garden stretches way ahead of you, all of this, until 1762 was a lake. They drained this, and 5 years later, they started to build. And coming on your left, separating the gardens, is the Mound, a man-made mud bridge, constructed from over 1 million cartloads of rubble when they were excavating the new town. And this is where William Playfair was commissioned to build these 2 galleries. The one to the back is the National Gallery. It's free to get into. It's open until 5 every day with the best collection of masters outside the city of London. Here on your left, the Royal Academy, started in 1826 for the Academy members, so they charge for their exhibitions. Now you keep looking up to your left and you'll see these white houses with the red roofs, Ramsay Gardens. This is where Alan Ramsay, the 17th century poet, lived. And this was as close as you were allowed to go to the castle. 1 arrow's distance in between, keeping all the land in front free in case of invasion. But you'll see we get invaded by our visitors. There's some brave souls walking around the Mills Mount Battery. And this is where they fire the 1 o'clock gun every day except Monday. Sunday you're supposed to be in church, not out enjoying yourself. And the oldest building in the city is a little church, way at the top of the castle. Underneath this flagpole, Queen Margaret's Church. She started this in the year 1090. You're able to go inside. The castle itself sits on an extinct volcanic plug. This was all left exposed during the Ice Age. They dammed the river in the 15th century, giving them the lake. Wonderful defence. Well, unfortunately, it wasn't only used for defending them. This is where they used to test the witches. They would tie their thumbs and their toes together, throw them into the water. If they stayed down, they were innocent. If they came up, they were guilty. They had to be. That was the devil pushing them back up to safety. And they no sooner came up, they were dragged off to the castle and burnt as a witch. It was a no-win situation. Over 200 poor souls met their end this way. Well, the only water we have now is down to your left. It's a very lovely Ross fountain. Well, you can tell it's winter. It's official. They switched the water off last week. But this fountain started its life in the Great Exhibition in Paris in the 1860s. Shipped here in 100 pieces, and when it was put together, the ministers of the church were shocked. It's got naked figures on it. Not a thing for a Presbyterian city like Edinburgh. They even wanted sheets put over it. Well, there it stood for over 100 years. And it's a lovely spot just to come along, sit, watch the world go by, and even feed the squirrels.
We're facing the frontier. They're a bit more secluded. That's why you like to see this just cold.
And here on your left, St. John's Episcopalian. Just had a facelift, bringing it back to its lovely original golden colour. This is the Craig Lee stone that was so popular in building the new town. Now it's lovely to look at, but unfortunately it's very porous, soaking up the smoke and the grime from the chimneys. And that's why you'll see so many buildings looking dirty, but we are restoring them. And that's how Edinburgh got its nickname, Old Reeky, because it reeked of so much smoke. You're welcome to go into St. John's every day of the week. And when you go in, it's like being inside a kaleidoscope. Every window is stained glass, absolutely gorgeous. If it's all getting too much for you, they've opened the vaults into a coffee shop. You can rest your weary feet along here. Now you keep looking to your left, just as we come to the corner of St. Cuthbert's here, there's a little tower. Now this is a death watch tower, and the churches had to build those to stop the body snatchers, or the resurrectionists as they like to call themselves, the people who dug up the fresh bodies and sold them to the medical school. By the 1820s, Edinburgh was a centre of anatomical research. They needed as many bodies as they could lay their hands on. They didn't care where they got them, as long as they were fresh. So the families paid someone to keep guard until the loved ones had gone off, until they were no good to the doctors. We really went a nice lot in those days. We're much nicer now, of course. High to your left, Butt's Battery, downstairs, the castle wall European. But high above us are the regimental barracks, because Edinburgh Castle is a working establishment. So you should be surprised when you see soldiers running about up here. This is where they live. And if one of those soldiers is about to be married, he can have his service in the chapel of Queen Margaret. And it's a Scotsman's delight. It only says 22, so you only have to pay for 22 to come to your wedding. Think of the amazing. Well, as the city defences went up, they eventually had 6 gates or ports from the French, a doorway leading in. Just about here was the West Port, and this would have brought you into this, the Grass Market, the largest open area in the old town. This is where they drove sheep, cattle, horses, corn exchange, every week for 500 years until the beginning of the century. Well, the only market we have here now, during the festival in August, when they come down here and sell all their arts and their crafts. Now Tom's going to give you a minute if you want to get some photographs, because high to your left is a super view of the citadel of the castle, where the kings and queens lived for safety with the half-moon battery, built like that to defend the cannonballs, who's expecting his second set of twins. Quite a character.
Robert
You keep
Burns,
looking to your left,
last time he was in Edinburgh, had a party going there, finally married his
King's Wall.
fiancée after she had her
And
third set of
another
twins or
is just
something.
coming up ahead of you on your left, painted red, called the Last Drop. Not because they run out of drink, forbid, because the gallows stood outside in this little stone enclosure just ahead of you on your left now. This is where
Gallows
the
used to be
bodies
right outside
took
this,
the last drop from this earth.
that
People
little pub right
actually
there,
rented
right
out
here.
their rooms at the top of the buildings to visitors, so there's a much better view of all the executions. And this is where you're going to leave us for Greyfriars Bobby, okay? We're in Candlemakers Road now. This is where they traded in candles until the time of gas lamps.
If you're coming back here, stick your hand out, because it's also a public service, okay? Just
Just coming down, Tom, thanks. Now the walls on your right are Greyfriars Churchyard. And the most famous resident in there is Bobby, the Skye Terrier dog, who kept guard over his master's grave for 14 years.
story about a dog who, after his master died, spent 14 years at his grave. The dog finally died. That's a
When he died in 1872, they put a little life-size statue of him in his memory at the corner, just ahead of you on your left. There is a street sign, and Bobby's statue is just past it. Can you see at the end of the railing? They'll be coming alongside your left shoulder downstairs. Look at, that's all the size he was. You look to your right through the churchyard, there's his headstone at the front, where Bobby is buried in non-consecrated ground. You are not allowed to go sticking animals in the churchyard. But he's not far from his master, John Gray, the local policeman. The building on your right, as one lady at the back pointed out, is the Bedlam Theatre for the university students. And in fact, it was built on the site of the Bedlam Asylum and Poorhouse. You were too poor for the infirmary? Well, they threw you there instead. This is where the old town finished, and this is where the university grew up, on your left-hand side. 18th, 19th, 20th century buildings stretching for half a mile here, with this on your left, the medical faculty. Now this is associated with people like Joseph Lister for antiseptic, Simpson, anesthesia. Charles Darwin, the third generation of his family to study here, failed his exams. He couldn't stand the sight of blood. He had to go to Cambridge to become a botanist instead, just as well it seems. And a young man called Arthur Conan Doyle had two teachers called Little John and Bell, who became Dr. Watson and Sherlock Holmes when he wrote his stories. And they all practiced on your left at the Royal Infirmary, an institution that started in 1729 with only 6 beds. They come from all over the world to study here. And over on your right is George Heriot's private school now, but when it started in 1628, it was a charity school for orphans and free men. Now this is the back. This is where the city wall, the Flood Wall, ran. Flood was a dreadful battle in 1513 with the King of the killed by the English. Thought the English were coming here, so built their flood wall to keep them out. Just as well they didn't come. It took them 47 years to finish building it. But that dictated the shape of the old town for 2.5 centuries. The red stone on your right is a Hunter building, the new Art College. The old one, built in 1907, is tucked behind. But you look to your right now. Look down through these arched windows, all these lovely vintage fire engines. This is the former headquarters to the Movie and Fire Service. It's now a museum. 600 years of firefighting history. And I'm sorry to tell you, in fact, we have an age discrimination. You know, they let school children climb over those machines. But so many people walk along here, they don't realise what's standing behind those windows. Now you do. Before they built the Art College on your right, this is where the cattle market stood. Can you imagine the chaos? Cattle, fire engines, all coming out at the same time. But one old fireman used to boast there was always fresh beef on the table. Anything they knocked over, they just dragged back inside for themselves. Quite rightly too. When you're up at the castle looking down at the Art College, you think about the best known model of all they had up there, Sean Connery, the best James Bond ever. He lived around the corner to your left behind these buildings at Fountain Bridge. He was a local milkman. I used to supplement his income by modelling for the art students, wearing not much more than a smile on his face. And I don't care if that man is 66. I'll take him for his pitch any Thursday morning. Now there was nothing in this area down here till the beginning of the 19th century. The railways came, so the land was very quickly developed. So they needed a road up to the old section, and they blasted their way through the Castle Rock here to make their great western approach road. This was once the widest street into the old town. The rock would have stretched from the Grass Market, which is now below us, way up to the walls that date back to the time of Robert the Bruce in the 14th century. The great hall towering above, where the king entertained and held parliament until the 17th century. And in the rooms of the citadel where the kings lived for safety, that is where you will find the crown jewels, the honours of Scotland. Now they are older than the English crown jewels, and if the Queen wants to see them, She's got to come here. They're ours. And by golly, they're staying ours. And on the 30th, at the end of this week, this is where they're bringing the Stone of Destiny. It was stolen 600 years ago. There's no other word for it. 600 years to the year it's coming home. Now we're taking you up to the castle. You can leave us if you wish. And this is where you will find 3 of the places that give you a discount with your tour ticket. On your right, the Camera Obscura, the outlook tower with huge concave lens at the top. To your left, the Whisky Heritage Centre, where you sit in an electric barrel. You're taken round about tons of waxworks, find out its history. Best of all, you get to taste it at the end. And if you look down to your left, there's George Heriot's school. We came just along the back. That was where the old town used to finish. It now stretches Edinburgh, way over to your left to the Pentland Hills on one side, and way down to the water's edge of the Firth of Forth on the other. Now the castle will also give you a discount with your ticket. And this is where you actually carry things for a living. And this is where you get the word a caddy, a golf caddy, a man who still carries things. This is the Royal Mile we're on. It's a mile from the castle behind us, way down to the Palace of Holyrood at the bottom. And there's a little house, or a land, as you call them up here, on your left. Gladstone's land. I'm afraid it's closed for the winter, but look to your left at the family crest, this golden bird, and you get a lovely idea of what the houses used to look like. Thomas bought this house in 1617, and what you're looking at is a 1622 extension he built from the original apartments. Even the windows are restored as they were in those days, with glass blown like bottles and set into metal strips. It would take a family 7 years to pay for their windows and mirrors. It was, as I say, so expensive. And this is how we get the saying, 7 years bad luck when the glass was broken. They only had shutters for fresh air. That is, if you were wealthy enough to have glass. Can you think, being a poor person living at the top of the gable end there with only skins and canvas stretched across to keep out the cold winter days. Now when I tell you today is quite mild, you realise just how cold it gets in January and February. The only way they were supposed to get rid of their rubbish, and I do mean all the rubbish, was down to the cess barrels in the street or cesspits in the courtyard, but it was much easier just to open those shutters, shout "Gare du Loup" and throw your rubbish out. And when you heard that, you cried, "Oh, have your hand!" You dived into the side, you never looked up, and all the mess came slopping down into the streets below. For the pigs would go out at night and forage around and eat up as much rubbish as possible. The city's first cleansing department. Well, do explore the courtyards, especially down to your left. Now just coming up ahead of you on your right is St Giles, the High Kirk of Scotland. It's not a cathedral. It hasn't been a cathedral since the 17th century, when we threw all King Charles's English bishops out. This started a 40-year religious war, the War of the Covenanters. Most of the building inside is medieval. And John Knox, the Protestant Reform leader, was probably its most famous minister. He was a man who turned the people against the young Catholic Queen, Mary Queen of Scots. If you keep looking to your right, our Market Cross, where proclamations are still called out 3 days after they're called out in London. That's how long it used to take the horse riders to reach Edinburgh with news. Now it takes nearly 4 days for a letter to get here. They were better for the horses when we had them. Now you will notice all the closes or enclosed walkways have different names. So this is where the trade or the inn that stood there. The ones on your left would have stretched all the way down to the water's edge of the Norloch and right down to the Flodden Wall. So they had to build up. They couldn't build out the way. And here on your left, they built Colburn Street by slicing through these closes to give them an access route down to what is now the Waverley. And here on your left, they knocked down 5 little streets to build the North Bridge in 1763. That was the first walkway linking the old town with the new. The hotel on your right, the Holiday Inn, is the youngest building in the Royal Mile. Believe it or not, the whole thing is only 6 years old. It took them many years to find a design in keeping with the old section. And another free museum is here on your right, the Museum of Childhood and Toys. Does anyone want to leave us? It's my favourite. It's got toys from all over the world. It takes on the whole 5 floors. If any children are sitting watching the video, push them out the road. You have a go. Wonderful. Here on your left, the oldest buildings, Mulberry House, 1460. John Knox House, 1490. And this is where you've got to use your imagination again. Until 1764, huge gates would have stood in front of you. The Nether Bow Gates. But by this time, the new town was being built. They were under no threat from invasion, so the gates and the walls all started to come down. But very tongue-in-cheek, look on your right, the World's End's Close and the World's End's Tavern. This was the end of the world for the people living in Edinburgh. The 50,000 folk crammed into 138 acres behind us. Now pretend we're going through the gates. We're now entering the borough of the Canons of Holyrood. Now they governed themselves quite separately from the 12th century, up until about 160 years ago. For acres and acres, this was the Drumshoot Forest. This is what they cut down to build the first wooden houses. Invaders kept burning them down, so it became a law you built in stone, and it was treated as a suburb by the noblemen. They went to the new town, they left us to the poor and fell into disrepair, but they got the community back. And the oldest building's down here, and ahead of you on your left, with a clock. This is a 12th century toll booth, where the canons had their court above, jail below. It's another free museum with people's story. You've got sounds and smells in here. And over on your right, 3 16th century houses make up the Huntly House Museum. Again, free, everything to do with the old town. Great Irish Bobbies call their boy. They'll be open until 5 o'clock tonight. If you are wandering down here, this little church makes you very welcome on your left, the Canongate Parish, built in 1688. There's a list of dignitaries just at the entrance telling you of the great names from the Edinburgh history buried here. At the top of the church is the Royal Crest, because this is where the Queen and the royal family come for their Sunday services, but they stay at Edinburgh Palace. Now this Giles, it was 2 separate boroughs, so the tradition stays. And your next stop is the one for the palace itself. Started in 1503 as a royal hunting lodge for James IV for his wedding to the 14-year-old English Princess Margaret Tudor. You're trying to work out your history, Henry VIII's big sister. The entrance is directly ahead of you. That's the northwest tower. There's the ruins of the Abbey Chapel next. Does anyone want to leave us? You're okay. I think they're all frozen to their seats, Tom. Actually, it's a bit milder the further forward you come if you're feeling a bit uncomfortable. You're all okay. You just don't want to admit your rumpish.
This is the Queen stays when she does come in. This is her residence right here. She's from Edinburgh.
As we turn to your right,
let's go to Holyrood.
In that northwest tower you will find apartments where Mary Queen of Scots lived for the 6 very turbulent years she was Queen of Scotland. Keep looking ahead of you to your right at this little tower at the corner, reputed to be Mary Queen of Scots' bathhouse. Now think of it, girls. Would you leave the palace to walk through the trees to take a bath? It said she bathed twice a year, whether she needed it or not. Very clean lady for her time. You must remember, in those days they wore underwear to protect the clothes, not the bodies. Soapy, that was just water. The pigeons were sitting at the side. Wonderful views behind you, but if you keep your camera still, Tom's going to take us to the top, and I'm going to show you the quick way to climb up there. Now we're turning here on your right to the Regent and Royal Terraces where the new town stopped. This is where they run out of money because of the Napoleonic Wars bankrupting the city. William Playfair designed this whole elegant area. 93 houses form the Regent Terrace, the longest continuous terrace in Europe outside the city of St. Petersburg. To your left in the trees now, there's the ruins of the Abbey of the Holy Rood. A rood is the Scots word for a cross. First built in 1128 by King David I. The palace, of course, where the royal family live, but they come to Edinburgh. This is where the Queen comes every June as a garden party. See, all the best people come to Edinburgh for the holidays. And up to your left, Arthur's Seat, rising 823 feet above us. That is the original volcano that created the explosions that forms the 7 hills Edinburgh stands on. Salisbury crags rising up the sun there. And there's quite a few people up there.